Hey guys, making a video for you so you know what to do on the sketch plane cube. This is going to be new to you. Like I told you in class, Autodesk Inventor is the program that you're going to be working on, and it is only available on the desktop computers. What you need to do is launch Autodesk Inventor. Once you get logged in, you just type Autodesk Inventor, and it should be the orange one that says Autodesk Inventor Professional 2000 whatever. 24, 23, 25, whatever yours says. It's a orangish capital I. And I would probably pin it to your taskbar because you're going to use it a lot, and then launch the program. So it may take a minute because you've never used it before. While that's happening on your laptop or whatever, you want to watch this video. The assignment itself is down here in Unit 3. When you open it, you should only be able to see this one assignment called Sketch Plane Cube. And this is where you're going to turn it in, okay? The assignment looks like this, and here's what you're building. These are the dimensions for the cube. It's a 2-inch by 2-inch cube. It has a circle extruding off the left side. It has a square extruding off the right side, and has a hole going down the middle all the way through. Then there are 3 conclusion questions that you're going to have to answer, and then you submit it. And I'll show you how to fix all this in a little bit. So the dimensions are 2 by 2, and we'll just start by making a simple cube. So back in Autodesk Inventor, once it launches, you are going to come over here where it says New, and you hit the drop-down arrow, and you're making a part. Think of it like a Lego piece. You're just making one piece. So we don't need these other ones yet. You're just going to hit the down arrow and hit Part. And you can see I have a lot of parts. You won't have anything in here. And it may take a second for it to load. And once it loads, you should have a blue screen, and it's blank. So the first thing we're going to do, and feel free to pause this at any point so you can stay on track, come up to the upper left corner and hit Start 2D Sketch. And it brings up all these work planes, okay? Whenever we draw in this class, we're going to draw from the front view, which is right here. So I'm going to click on the XY plane. And now I'm in sketch mode, if you will. Kind of like 3D paint, right? What we need to draw is a rectangle because we're going to make a cube. So I will click on the down arrow below the rectangle, and it gives me different options. The one for today's purpose is called 2-point center. It's the third one down. So I'll select that. It gives me little crosshairs. I'm going to go right to the center of the point of 0, 0, just like graphing. I'm going to click once, drag it out, and click again. So I just drew a random square on here, and it has no dimensions or no measurements, whatever you want to call them. And when I go back to the assignment, I told you guys it's a 2-inch by 2-inch cube. Okay, and I can see some of the measurements here representing 1 inches, and it's showing that it's 1 inch halfway across, or 1 inch to the middle. Okay, so we need to tell it what size to be. Up at the top, it says dimension. So I will click on the dimension tool. I will come down low. We got our length, and we got our height. So I will click on the height. It doesn't matter which side. So I'm going to click once. I'm going to move my cursor to the left. I'm going to put the dimension right there, and it says 0.68. I don't know what yours is going to say, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to change it to 2 and hit enter. Then I'm going to come to the length. I'm going to click again, and I'm going to change it to 2. Enter. Now I have a 2-inch by 2-inch square. Don't have to do the right side because it's obviously the same as the left side. Don't need to do the bottom because it's the same as the top. Okay. This is not 3-dimensional. This is just a square. So we're going to make it into a cube. Up top, there's a green check mark that says Finish. Now it is in that isometric view. This is like Tinkercad a little bit. There's this cube over here you can move around. There's a house I can click on. And what I want to do is make this 3-dimensional. So in order to do that, you come here to the left and it says Extrude. Once you click Extrude, it's going to automatically select your square, and it defaulted to 1 inch. Okay, I want to make this 2 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to change it to 2, and then I'll hit enter. I now have a 2 inch by 2 inch by 2 inch cube, right? Everything I've done is over here on the left. This is called the model browser. There's my extrusion I just did. If I click the little plus sign next to it, it'll show my first sketch. You can see that 2 inch by 2 inch sketch. If you ever screw anything up, you can always work your way backwards and expand over here and double click on things that you want to go back and edit. So if you wanted to edit this sketch, you can double click on it. There's my sketch, and you can change things if you want to change things. I don't want to change anything, so I'm just going to hit the check mark again. Okay, I'm going to go back to Schoology and look at what else we need to add. Let's start with this circle on the left side, okay? It says the circle is popping off of there by 1/2 inch. First thing I got to do, though, is draw the actual circle. Okay, the circle is perfectly centered on the left-hand side. So we'll come back here. I'm going to sketch again like we started. So I'm going to hit sketch. And then you can click on any side of the cube that you want and you can draw on it. So I want to draw on this left side. And what shape do I want to draw? I want to draw a circle. So up here is the circle tool by the rectangle tool. And I'll click circle, come down, center it perfectly. Click once, drag out, click again. And I need to tell it what size the circle is. So just like before, I'll come up here where it says dimension. I'm going to come down to my circle. I'm going to click on it one time. Move that dimension wherever I want to place it. I'll put it right here. Doesn't really matter. It says it's 1.3 or something like that. The instructions tell us that it needs to be a 1 inch in diameter circle. And that's what I got. I am done drawing. I want that circle to pop off 1/2 inch. So I go back to it, I finish with that green check mark, hit extrude. It defaulted to 2 because that's what we used up here for the cube. I'm going to change the dimension here or here, doesn't matter, and hit 0.5, which is the same thing as 1/2, and hit OK. There it is. Come back to the instructions. On the right hand side we have a square popping off. So same process really, right? I'm going to start a new 2D sketch. I'm going to click on the right hand side and I want to draw a square. So I'll go back to that rectangle that we used, same style, 2-point center, and I'll place a square. There it is. The square, just like the circle, needs measurements. The circle was 1 inch around. The square is going to be 1 inch by 1 inch, which is smaller than our original cube, right? So kind of getting the hang of it now, I hope. We're going to come up to dimension. I'll click on the height. Doesn't matter which side. Let's choose the right side. Drag it out a little bit. Change that number to 1. And now it's 1 inch tall. We also need to change the length. So I'm going to click right here on the bottom, go down a little bit, click again, change that length to 1. Okay, obviously this is not centered, right? Mine's too low. Yours won't be centered either. It could be anywhere. So we got to center it so it looks nicer. Stay in your dimension tool. You'll see if you did the right rectangle, there's a little red dot that you can find. Right in the center of the square, I'm going to click on that dot. And then I'm going to choose any side of my larger cube. Doesn't matter which of the 4 sides. We'll choose this left one. I'm going to click again. I'm going to move my cursor a little bit, and it's going to tell me how far is this edge from the center of that square. Well, it says it's currently almost 1, but we want to change it perfectly to 1 because the center of a 2-inch line would be 1. So I'll type 1. It's obviously too low. It's sitting lower on the side here, so I keep that dimension tool. I'm going to click on the center dot again, and I'm going to tell it how far should we be from the bottom actually. Well, right now it's 0.7. I don't know what yours is going to be, obviously, but I'm going to change it to 1. You will too. And it's going to push this square up. That looks better. That square is perfectly centered on there, so I will hit Finish Sketch. And now, just like this, we want to make it more three-dimensional. So that was called Extrude. Up here again to the left, Extrude. It pops it out. It automatically did 0.5 because that's what we just did for this circle. If yours doesn't say 0.5, adjust it. And then hit OK. Back with our instructions, you can see I've done 2 of the features. The last one is this hole that travels all the way down the middle, perfectly on the top, travels throughout the whole object. This is the easy part. There's a shortcut for hole. It's up top. It's right here. It says hole. So I'm going to click once on it. I'm going to come over here to the top. No matter where I click, I'm going to have to make adjustments. So I'm just going to click right here. That does not look good. There's all types of things wrong with this. So let's walk through it. Termination means how far does it go? The first option is you tell the hole to go a certain distance, like drilling down in halfway, for example. The second one says through all, which is what we want, so we're going to leave it on through all. The direction is which way you want the hole to travel, which we want it to go down through the object. Here's the problem. This says the diameter is 4 inches. Well, that's way too large because our block is only 2 by 2. I don't know what yours will say. Mine just happens to say 4. So I'm going to change it, and what we want is 1. Okay. Without closing out of anything, I'm going to click on my top view over here. Okay, so I can see what it looks like from the top. And that doesn't look centered, right? So I got to make it centered, kind of like I just did with the square. I'm going to leave this open, this whole feature. Don't close it. And I'm going to click on any side of the square, and it will tell me how far is that center of the hole to the side. And I'm going to change it to 1, and it's going to pull it over. Don't hit enter. Don't close this out. It's obviously not centered fully. I'm going to click on another side of that square. And that's too close down here, so we need to change that one to 1. And it pushed it up. Okay. Then I can hit OK. That travels all the way through the object. I'm going to come back to my home view. And that looks good. If you do your hole and it looks weird, and it's off-centered and not all the way through or something's wrong, remember you can come back over here to the left. There's the hole I just made in the browser. You can double click on it and you can adjust things that you need to adjust, just in case you accidentally close it. I am now done with this object. It is a boring gray, so I can change the color of it. That is up here. There's a tiny little tab that says default. So I'm going to click on it. It's going to give me a little drop down action. And there are a lot of colors you can choose. I could care less what color you want. Just choose a random color. Let's go with, I don't know, blue. How's that look? All right, got a blue cube. Now we got to turn it in. Obviously with the assignment you have this pink one there. Well, I made that, so you can't turn that in. That won't give you credit. So all you do, click on it, delete it, get rid of that. And it says, paste a screenshot of your cube below. So I'm going to go back here. Let's get our snipping tool. If you've never done that, you just type snipping tool and search for it. Open it up. Move that out of the way. Click new. And then you can drag a box around it. And it automatically copies it. So you don't got to worry about any of this nonsense. You can, in fact, like close that if you want. You come right here and you hit paste or Control V. And there's my cube. Okay. There's 3 conclusion questions you need to answer. You can figure out 1 and 3. Number 2 sometimes confuses kids. There are several shortcut keys that you can use in your 3D modeling software. What's a shortcut key? List 3 of them below. Okay. Well, at any point, here's an example one. If you hit S, it will automatically enter into sketch mode. So you don't have to actually click it on the screen. You can just hit S on your keyboard.